This is the application 2 of Gauss theorem. In this case, we have to find out field intensity at a point due to spreaded charge. This is infinitely long thin charge. See, this is the symbol of infinitely long thin charge. C is there. Charge distribution is plus. We are taking surface charge density as plus sigma. Infinitely long, that's why we cannot find out total charge on it. The point P is here at a distance r from the sheet. The sheet is taken perpendicular to it. Let us take this one is a surface. The charge is distributed here, and you are taking the point like this. So face on the three-dimensional face, you are observing like this, or it is like this. So point is here, charge C is this one. If it is at this particular point at a distance r and the surface charge density is sigma, again to find the field intensity here we have to plot a Gaussian surface. Why we plot a Gaussian surface? Because we don't know the formula to find the field intensity here for infinitely long thin charge sheet. So let's draw. This is a Gaussian surface I am drawing here. Its cap area is A. Its length will automatically becomes 2r, r from this side, r from this side, and the cap area as we have taken A on both the sides. This Gaussian cylinder that you have taken is actually penetrating to the sheets, which means if you have taken the sheet like this, the Gaussian surface is penetrating through it and is coming out of it. So if you are taking Gaussian surface, your charge is spread here. So whatever the area Gaussian surface will have, when it will pass through it, it will occupy, it will enclose only that charge which will be present on the surface of this Gaussian cylinder. For example, if it is penetrating, charge is spread throughout. So when it will penetrate, it will, whatever the charge here will be there, equal to its cap area, that will be enclosed in that Gaussian cylinder. So if the cap area is A, then the charge enclosed within it within the cylinder or within the Gaussian cylinder will be equal to sigma A. So according to Gauss theorem, flux will be equal to now whatever the charge it will have, that charge will be positive in nature. So that positive charge will try to release field lines or electric flux. Those flux will come out through this surface or with this surface or with these surfaces. Think of it first. Let I am taking this area as first zone, this area as second, and this is third, this is also with third because it is a curved surface area. So there are types of area: left side cap area, right side cap area, and the curved surface area. You know from the theory of electric flux that those lines which will come from this side or this side or this side, this side, that will not be normal to the charge sheet, which is the property of electric flux, that it will always come out normally. So electric flux will not pass through these curved surface area, rather it will pass through only this area and this area. That's why when you go according to flux theory, net flux coming out through Gaussian surface will be equal to the field intensity at peak is not known to you, so let it be E. So this will be equal to, you can understand in this way that the three zones are there. So surface, which surface you will take? The curved surface area, that means area of first zone, area of second zone, or area of third zone. Or you can understand that this field will pass through only this cap area and this cap area. That means it is directly to A, because the cap area is A. Both the methods have the same output. You can understand in this way also that to integrate ds, we can go for surface flux through first zone, flux through second zone, and flux through third zone. This will come, and this will become 0 because they are not normal. That's why in that case also you will get the same output. Again, from these two equations I can write, because they belongs to the same theory. This means field intensity this time at the point P becomes sigma by 2 epsilon naught. You are observing here that the field intensity does not depend upon the distance of the point. That means here it is independent of distance, independent of R. So you cannot plot graph between E and R. If anybody asks you, you can write that it is independent, it is constant. So if anybody asks you to plot again a graph between E and R, you may write, you may plot like this. But you are also observing that is directly proportional to the strength of surface charge density. So similar option will be there. If anybody asks you that I am fixing the point P here, maintaining at a fixed distance, if I am continuously changing the surface charge density, then how will you plot the graph? No problem. If that person wants to know, okay? If you are taking the different cases, like first case, in place of thin charge sheet, if the charge sheet is thick, in that case, no problem at all. If it is thicker one, this means that in place of a single page on which you are providing charge, it is thicker one like this. So for conducting surface, whatever the charge will provide, that will be reside either on this surface or on this surface. It will not go inside. This means when you are taking a Gaussian surface, first Gaussian surface while penetrating, it will accept the charge from this particular place. You can understand, from this charge C it will collect the charge. So it will be Q1 sigma A from this place. Now when it will penetrate through this portion to the last face, it will not have any charge in Gaussian surface because it will not carry any charge. When it will coming out, Gaussian surface is coming out from this surface, then whatever the charge it has, again it will correct the charge. Cap area will remain same. So charge acceptance from the second phase will be again sigma f. That means net charge enclosed is 2 sigma f. So from Gauss theorem, you can say, according to Gauss theorem, the flux will be 2 sigma a by epsilon naught. But according to flux theory, when you are going to calculate the flux, the same field intensity at the point P is E and will go through the same two area. No curved surface level involved to release the field lines or electric flux. That's why the electric flux will come out only through this cap area and this cap area. This means field intensity in this case will be sigma by epsilon naught. So for thick sheet, field intensity is sigma by epsilon naught, and for thin sheet, it is sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Now the question may be asked to you that if two thin charged sheets are there, one having surface charge density plus sigma 1, another having plus sigma 2, and anybody asks you surface charge density of the two different sheets is different, they are parallel to each other, and anybody asks you to find out field intensity here, you may take zone 1, zone 2 and zone 3. No problem. Due to this charge sheet first, the field intensity here will be, this is positive, so it will be radially outward. Due to this, field intensity here will be sigma 1 by 2 epsilon naught without caring about whatever the distance of the point may be. So here field intensity is E1 and its direction is minus I cap, radially outward left side. So it is magnitude is sigma 1 by 2 epsilon naught, direction is minus I cap. Similarly for this particular charge density or this particular sheet here, this is also positive. So direction will be same, but the magnitude will be different. Now they are having same direction, so net field intensity in zone 1 will be sigma 1 plus sigma 2 by 2 epsilon naught, and the direction will be minus I cap still. Similarly, you can go for here, the direction due to this charge sheet will be radially outward, so along this direction. Due to this radially outward, so along this direction. Magnitude for E1, E2 will remain same, only the change is in direction. So in case 2, first of all, E1 is in plus I direction, E2 is in minus I direction. If you will take the superposition principle, this will be equal to E1 plus E2, but the direction of the field intensity is opposite, so they will subtract. That means either if sigma 1 is greater than sigma 2, in that case you can write sigma 1 minus sigma 2 by epsilon naught, and the direction will be of sigma 1. That means it becomes plus I cap. If sigma 2 is greater than, sigma 2 is greater than sigma 1, in that case it will be sigma 2 minus sigma 1 by 2 epsilon naught, and the direction will be of sigma 2. That means whatever direction the E2 will have, the same direction will be there. The magnitude is this one. Similarly, if you go for this particular point, this will provide field intensity along this direction, radially outward, but the field intensity will become sigma 1 by 2 epsilon naught, but this sign will change. Now this side it is plus I. Similarly, this will also apply radially outward, so this will also become plus I. So in zone 3, again sigma 1 plus sigma 2 by 2 epsilon naught will come. It is similar to, the magnitude will be similar to zone 1. Only difference is in direction, but this side, its direction will be plus I. So zone 1 and zone 3 will have same magnitude, only difference is in direction, while zone 2, depending upon the magnitude of charge density. If it is thick charge C, in that case, in place of taking sigma 1 by 2 epsilon naught, we will take sigma 1 by epsilon naught only. For thick sheet, you can put. If question changes sigma 1 in place of sigma 1, the sheet is showing plus sigma, and the second sheet is of negative charge. Again, you can substitute sigma 1 is equal to, in this particular case, sigma 1 is equal to plus sigma, and sigma 2 is equal to minus sigma. According to that, you can take the direction and go for field intensity in zone 1, zone 2 and zone 3. You can do yourself.